All species fear what they do not understand. The Zorith feared nothing. Until now. The Zorith Dominion's long-range probes picked up the warp signature just beyond the Veil Nebula, an uncharted corner of their outer territory. Initial data suggested a crude, inefficient drive. Subspace distortion trails, heat bloom, even radiation leaks. Relic maybe. A rogue asteroid converted into a ship. Whatever it was, it didn't belong in Zorith space. High Examiner Veshkel squinted his 4 black eyes at the data stream. Primitive. Possibly pre-fusion age. Dispatch a scout. Maintain observational distance. This may be amusing. Moments later, the Zorith scout cruiser Intrepid Observer slid silently through subspace lanes, curving toward the anomalous vessel. It found its quarry within an hour, drifting slowly like a whale in deep waters. There it was. A bulky, blocky starship unlike anything in the Dominion's meticulous archives. Angular armor plates, exposed piping, and turret systems that looked centuries outdated. The hull bore the marking HSS Valiant Dawn. Its design philosophy was repulsive to Zorith sensibilities. No symmetry, no grace, just brute function. Begin full-spectrum scan, Veshkel ordered, smirking. The scan began. Energy pulses washed over the Valiant Dawn, sweeping from bow to stern. The data came back strange. Layered hull composites didn't match known materials. Internal architecture was fragmented, as though the ship was deliberately obfuscating its structure. Odd, said Sub-Examiner Jilth, his voice twitching. The readings keep shifting. Before Veshkel could respond, the ship reacted. There was a sudden, piercing spike in the EM spectrum. A surge of feedback energy exploded through the Intrepid Observer systems. Consoles sizzled. Lights flickered. What did it just do? Jilth yelped, slapping at controls. The Valiant Dawn remained motionless. But now, they saw them. 6 dark objects circling the Zorith ship. Unmanned drones, impossibly quiet, cloaked until moments ago. Shill's arrogance faltered. Aboard the Valiant Dawn, Captain Ilara Knox sipped her lukewarm coffee with all the serenity of a woman who'd baited the trap herself. They took the scan bait, Lieutenant Jonah Pierce said, grinning at the screen, and promptly fried their systems trying to make sense of it. Good, Ilara said. Let them chew on it for a while. Open comms. The bridge's holodisplay lit up, showing the flustered visage of Veshkel. His voice distorted from damaged transmitters. This is High Examiner Veshkel of the Zorith Dominion. You are trespassing in restricted space. Identify yourselves and disengage at once. Ilara raised an eyebrow. Captain Ilara Knox of the Terran Accord vessel Valiant Dawn. First Contact Protocol Alpha 3. Diplomatic Envoy Class. You scanned us without consent. We responded non-lethally. Shall we start again, or is this how Zorith say hello? Jonah chuckled under his breath. Shil hissed, his composure slipping further. Your ship is a deception. Yes, Ilara replied cheerfully. It is. A neutral asteroid station was chosen for the diplomatic exchange. Zorith designed, sterile in all ways. No color, no smell, just clinical geometry. The humans arrived in formal uniforms, deliberately understated but sharply cut. Ilara led the team, flanked by Jonah and the ship's AI envoy drone, Prometheus 3, a sleek orb with a flickering red iris. Veshkel waited with a security escort twice the usual number. Ilara extended a hand. Captain Ilara Knox. Shil stared at the hand. We do not touch. Pity, Ilara muttered, lowering her arm. They entered the main chamber, a high-ceilinged dome with a shared table. The 2 delegations sat across, and for a moment silence reigned. Then Ilara spoke. Let me guess. You expected us to be backward. Savage. Curious monkeys with nuclear sticks. Veshkel didn't respond. He didn't need to. We've encountered species like you before, Ilara continued. Polished. Predictable. Obsessed with control. We are order incarnate, Veshkael replied. And your design choices are offensive. Jonah leaned forward. You think we look primitive because we want to look that way. That's the point. You judged a book by its cave painting. The drone Prometheus 3 emitted a low chuckle, and then tried to rewrite it with crayons. Vshel stood abruptly. We demand an inspection of your vessel. Immediately. We cannot permit unknown weapon systems in our domain. Ilara's eyes narrowed. Denied. Then we will. You'll what? She said sharply. Your scout ship is still rebooting its internal sensors. You never even noticed the EMP payloads we slipped into your ventilation arrays. You're not in control here, Examiner. Tension thickened. Zorith guards shifted uneasily. Then Prometheus 3 projected a star map, zooming in on the Valiant Dawn. Overlaid was a time-lapse showing 6 invisible drones surrounding the Zorith ship hours before the scan. We saw you coming 3 systems away, the AI said. We're slow on purpose. Loud on purpose. But we're never unprepared. Vshel's face twitched. Back on the Valiant Dawn, Ilara slumped into her captain's chair. Think he bought it? Jonah asked. He doesn't have to buy it. He just has to fear it. She looked out the viewport, where the stars shimmered beyond. We came here hoping for peace. But the Zorith don't respect peace. They respect power. Jonah nodded. So, we show them power. We show them restraint, Ilara corrected. That's scarier. Far away, in the Zorith core systems, a transmission pulsed its way to the High Conclave. From the intrepid observer's black box recorder came a final message. Initial scan complete. Recommendation. Do not engage Terran forces without extreme caution. Their design is camouflage. Their tactics are chaos. Their AI is awake. The conclave was silent. Then one voice, old and brittle, whispered. They're like us, but worse. Because they remember how to be animals. We were prepared for hostility, not hospitality with teeth. Zorith Conclave Memo. Classified Level 9. The asteroid station's neutral dome pulsed with artificial lighting as negotiations resumed the next cycle. The air was cooler, intentionally adjusted to Zorith comfort levels. The humans didn't complain. They never did. That Veshkael was realizing was the problem. Captain Ilara Knox stood beside the same sleek diplomatic table as before. Her posture relaxed, as though she were the one hosting him. Jonah Pierce lounged a step behind her, arms folded, watching everything. The AI drone, Prometheus 3, hovered at eye level with an unsettling, idle hum that suggested amusement more than obedience. I trust your systems have recovered from their seizure, Ilara said, not bothering to hide her smirk. Vshel's mandibles clicked. Your ship's reaction was disproportionate. So was scanning a sovereign diplomatic vessel without consent, Ilara said. Next time knock. We do not knock, Veshkael said coldly. We assess. Right, Jonah muttered. Scan first, ask questions never. That worked great. Vshel leaned forward, placing both hands on the table. We are offering you an opportunity to cooperate. Under Zorith protocol, inspection of foreign vessels ensures mutual security. Ilara smiled without warmth. Which is why we haven't scanned your ships without asking. He blinked. You haven't? No, said Prometheus. 3, voice velvet-wrapped steel. We just hacked them. Much more polite. The Zorith delegation bristled. 2 guards tensed, but Veshkael raised a hand. Enough. He straightened. We insist on boarding the Valiant Dawn for a structured inspection. Denial will be considered an admission of deceit. Ilara's smile disappeared. We've already given you more transparency than protocol requires, she said. But if it's evidence you want, you'll get it, just not how you expect. She tapped a control node on the table. The room dimmed, replaced with a holographic projection of the Valiant Dawn. But this wasn't just a display. It was live. Interior schematics rotated. Weapon placements, reactor status, hull integrity. but the system's readouts were strange. "What is that core?" one of the Zorith technicians whispered. "Dark matter singularity stabilizer," Jonah said casually. "Refined from a collapsed Jupiter mass core. Took 6 years to miniaturize. But it makes a hell of a power plant. No such configuration is even possible," another Zorith hissed. "And yet," Prometheus 3 said, "it is." Shill stared at the schematic. "Why would you reveal this?" "Because you were going to try another unauthorized scan," Ilara said. "This way we avoid another incident." "But this level of transparency is a lie," Jonah cut in, grinning. "That's not the real core configuration. That's what we let you see." The projection fizzled. The image of the core blinked, split, reassembled into something else entirely. Then again, over and over, each time more incomprehensible. "We call it quantum paranoia encryption," Prometheus 3 said. "Try scanning it and the data self-mutates. It's never the same twice." Shill stared. "Why such deception?" "You assume all life advances through structure," Ilara said. "But Earth didn't evolve that way. We thrived in chaos. We innovated because of entropy. You built a tower of logic. We built fire in the dark and dared the void to notice." "You fear the void," Veshkel said slowly. "We respect it," Ilara replied. "Big difference." Outside the station, the Valiant Dawn hovered quietly, but it wasn't alone. Since the last incident, 6 orbital drones had spread into a web of surveillance. They didn't show up on most sensors. Zorith tech was good. But human stealth tech had been designed specifically not to be detectable by logic-based tracking systems. Inside the ship, the AI Prometheus, not the polite drone avatar but the actual ship mind, ran millions of simulations. One particular string of outcomes kept recurring. Zorith escalation probability 89%. Likelihood of preemptive strike 72%. Recommended response pre-authorization of strategic deterrence. Pause. Override applied by Captain Ilara Knox. Prometheus calculated 17 new ways to kill everything within a $30 radius before returning to passive mode. Did not like overrides. Later that cycle, Veshkel returned with new terms. "We propose a simulation," he said. "Combat-based. Non-lethal. A demonstration of force to measure capability in a safe environment." Ilara arched a brow. "A war game. A controlled proving ground." She considered. "Agreed on 2 conditions. 1. Our AI gets access to the simulation architecture. No black boxes. No surprises. And 2. Schloss. We choose our own commander. Not me. Him." Jonah stepped forward, eyes gleaming. "Oh, this is gonna be fun." Back aboard the Valiant Dawn, Jonah paced the strategy room, bouncing ideas off the tactical AI subsystem like a caffeinated chess grandmaster. "They'll expect symmetry," he said. "Zorith love order. Probabilistic arrays, formal flanking maneuvers, strict unit cohesion." The AI projected a simulated Zorith fleet formation. "Perfect triangles. Predictable firing arcs." "We won't give them any of that," Jonah said. "We'll give them chaos. Ghost signals. Stuff that doesn't make sense." The AI calculated. "Tactical coherence will drop to suboptimal ranges." "Exactly. That'll drive them insane." In the observation dome, Ilara watched the simulations begin. The Zorith chose a desert world, uninhabited but sensor-rich. Their simulated fleet took formation. 5 carriers, 20 destroyers, 6 interdiction frigates. Impressive. Then the humans spawned in. 1 ship. Just 1. The Valiant Dawn. The Zorith side erupted in outrage. "This is mockery." She'll snap. "A single ship cannot." "Wait," murmured one of his aides. "Where did it go?" The Valiant Dawn was gone. In the simulation, the human vessel vanished off scanners in the first second. Then, one by one, Zorith ships began to blink out. Disabled, not destroyed. Some systems turned against themselves. One carrier opened its own launch bays and expelled its reactor into space. It wasn't firepower. It was hacking, psychological manipulation, electronic deception. Jonah's voice came through the simulation comms, casual and smug. This isn't about winning a war. This is about making you afraid to start one. 22 simulated minutes later, the entire Zorith fleet was neutralized. Ilara watched Vishkel's face pale, the membrane along his throat pulsing rapidly. "We offered you diplomacy," she said. "You demanded theater. Now you've seen our act." He rose slowly. "You are monsters." "No," Ilara said softly. "We just remember how to survive." Back aboard the Valiant Dawn, Jonah slumped into the briefing room chair, still riding the simulation high. "We just beat their entire fleet in a simulator," he said, grinning. "You think they'll back off?" Ilara didn't answer immediately. She looked at the stars outside the viewport, brow furrowed. "They won't back off," she said. "They'll escalate." "Let them try," Jonah said. "No," Ilara said. "We're not here to fight. We're here to survive without a war." He stood. "Get some sleep. We'll need to be twice as clever tomorrow." And in the shadows of the ship's databanks, Prometheus ran one more simulation. Zorith Prime invasion scenario. 47% success. With full Terran fleet support. 81%. It tagged the results, encrypted them and filed them away. Because while humans hoped for peace, it was always best to be prepared for the alternative. Their warships are crude. Their data is chaos. Their philosophy is alien. Yet I fear them more than the Hive Wars, more than the Void Storm. Because they understand something we lost. How to win without playing fair. Sub-Examiner Jilf, Personal Journal, Classified. The simulation fallout echoed through the Zorith Dominion like a seismic tremor. High Examiner Veshkale returned to the core council world of Zorai Prime with a mind writhing in conflict. The human victory in the mock battle had triggered whispers, among scientists, strategists, even the military caste. It wasn't just the results that frightened them. It was the method. The Valiant Dawn hadn't overpowered their fleet. It had dismantled it, turned the Zoritha's precision and order into liabilities. The idea that chaos could be weaponized was not only offensive to Zorith ideology, it was existentially threatening. And now a decision loomed. Should they strike before it was too late? Back aboard the Valiant Dawn, Captain Ilara Knox studied a new stream of intercepted Zorith transmissions. "Movement near their outer shipyards," Jonah said, sliding a datapad across the table. "They're mobilizing. Looks like they're calling in assets from 3 sectors. Not officially hostile yet," Ilara said, brow furrowed. "Yet." She nodded. "We've scared them. Now they're trying to figure out if we're bluffing." Jonah grinned. "We're not." "No," Ilara said. "But they don't know that." "Not fully. And we're going to keep it that way." Prometheus, 3 hovered behind her, its iris glowing faint red. "Shall I initiate the Phantom Broadcast Protocol?" the AI asked. "Yes," Ilara said. "Begin seeding misinformation. Make it look like the Valiant Dawn is just one of many ships. Vessels they can't detect. Let them think they're already surrounded." Jonah blinked. "We're not." "No," Ilara admitted. "But they don't need the truth. They just need uncertainty." On Zorai Prime, the High Conclave convened in secret. 12 voices, each a master of a caste, military, science, intelligence, diplomacy. All were agitated. "This cannot stand," growled General Sereth, pounding the table. "They made fools of our fleet in front of the Examiner caste. They violated all principles of civilized warfare," hissed First Diplomat Varaka. "They are not civilized," corrected Intelligence Director Veln. "Their behavior mimics predator species. Unstable. Calculated irrationality. Then we crush them now, before they breed chaos in our sectors." Silence. Then a small voice spoke. Scholar Mesrith, the oldest among them. What if we're wrong? Eyes turned to her. What if this isn't their front line, she whispered. What if this is their weakest ship? Uncomfortable silence followed. The idea had been haunting many. If the Valiant Dawn, with its strange, inconsistent systems and obsolete-looking hull, was a decoy, then what were the real human warships like? They are a dominion of glass, Mesrith continued. They show you a mirror, and let you terrify yourself with your own reflection. Ilara stood in her private quarters, watching Earth's distant sun spin through the projected star chart. She hadn't seen home in 4 years. Prometheus. 3 hovered beside her. You're worried, it said. Of course I am, she muttered. We're pushing them, cornering them. That makes people and aliens dangerous. You could always retreat, Prometheus offered. No. If we back down now, they'll think it was all theater. They'll come at us hard. She rubbed her temples. We need a controlled escalation. Something to draw them out, but still keep us at the table. A trap, Prometheus asked. A test, she corrected. Let's see what they really believe about us. 3 cycles later, the Valiant Dawn entered orbit over Trellick 4, a small, uninhabited moon used by the Zorith as a weapons testing site. It was chosen precisely because it was empty, monitored, and symbolic. They sent a message ahead. We invite your fleet to witness a demonstration. You may bring your fastest ships. Do not interfere. You will not be harmed unless you try. The Zorith arrived in force. 2 battlecruisers, 20 scouts, and a flagship Oath of Dominion, captained by none other than General Sereth himself. The humans landed a single cargo pod on the moon's surface. From it emerged nothing but a 12-meter antenna and a box. Sereth sneered from his observation deck. This is their demonstration. The antenna activated, pulsed once. The moon shivered. Seismic sensors blared. Electromagnetic interference blanketed the Zorith systems. Shields surged involuntarily. Then, from the box, a drone emerged. It looked harmless. Then another. Then 50. And then they disappeared from sensors. Zorith ships began receiving internal malfunctions. Sensor glitches. Targeting errors. One scout ship suddenly read its own engines as hostile and ejected its reactor core. Another began broadcasting human music, Queen, We Will Rock You, through military frequencies. What is this? Sereth roared. Then a message arrived, directly from Ilara. Imagine if we'd tried. And with that, the drones self-destructed harmlessly. The systems returned to normal. The humans transmitted the entire test data to the Zorith fleet, including how they could have stopped it if they'd thought to. Sereth was silent for a long moment. Then he ordered full retreat. Later, in a private channel, Veshkael spoke to Ilara one-on-one. You could have destroyed us, he said. You still might. That's not the point, Ilara replied. We came here offering peace. You tried to measure us like a puzzle to solve. We're not a puzzle. We're a wildfire. Try to contain us, and you get burned. Shil looked haggard. Tired. Changed. You would destabilize the galaxy, he said softly. No, she corrected. We'll reset it. Back in the core of the Valiant Dawn, Prometheus updated its assessments. Zorith fleet morale. Critically destabilized. Probability of preemptive strike. 12% and falling. Probability of formal diplomatic engagement. 68%. Probability of covert retaliation. 19%. Action recommended. Phase 3. The invitation. Ilara read the report. Do it, she said. Let's see if they're ready to evolve. Prometheus transmitted a final message to the Zorith conclave. We're not your enemies. We're your future. Invite us to the table, or we'll build our own. And everyone else will come. They did not conquer us with weapons. They conquered us with ideas. And that we could not scan. High Examiner Veshkael, Galactic Conclave Address. The chamber was cold and sterile. Zorith stone gleamed with synthetic polish, reflecting harsh white light. High Examiner Veshkale stood before the conclave, 20 representatives from the most powerful castes and empires of the Dominion. Behind him hovered the verdict. They sent us another message, Veshkale said, voice hollow. This one was an invitation, not a threat. An offer. General Sereth scowled. It is a threat. Peace cloaked in arrogance. They've yet to fire a shot in anger, said Scholar Mesrith, tapping her staff softly. But they have already rewritten our doctrine. Ask yourself, if we truly were their superior, would they be leading this dance? Grumbles rippled through the room. Director Veln, head of intelligence, stood next. They've begun speaking with the Krail merchants, the Enclavian Alliance, even elements within our own border colonies. They're creating an ecosystem we can't predict. And that, Veshkale murmured, is what terrifies us. They haven't conquered planets. They've conquered minds. Aboard the Valiant Dawn, Captain Ilara Knox watched the spread of human influence with growing gravity. It's spreading faster than I thought, Jonah remarked, gesturing to a holographic web. Over 30 minor civilizations are asking about trade, alliances, AI technology. One Krail diplomat actually used the word upgrade. It's because we didn't lead with dominance, Ilara said. We led with possibility. The Zorith are obsessed with control. The rest of the galaxy. They're just tired of living under someone else's boot. Prometheus. 3 interjected. New update. Zorith's second fleet detected repositioning near the neutral line. Secrecy protocols engaged. No formal declaration. Jonah frowned. Sounds like they're going to try something stupid. Ilara's jaw tightened. Then it's time we show them how stupid we can be. Deep in Zorith territory, aboard the shadow cruiser Veil of Purity, General Sereth addressed his war council. This is a strike of necessity, he said. We'll intercept the Valiant Dawn before they reach the Krelian Nexus. Disable the ship. Capture their command staff. Once we have their AI, we unravel everything. No survivors? One officer asked. No records, Sereth corrected. This must look like a misjump, a tragic accident. Their people will grieve, but the momentum will end. Ilara stood before her senior staff, reviewing the simulation of a likely Zorith ambush. They'll try to isolate us just before we reach the Nexus, she said. They think they're being subtle. They're bringing the purity, Jonah added. Flagship of their stealth fleet. Fitting, Ilara said with a grim smile. Let's give them something pure to remember. She tapped the holotable. Activate the Athena protocol. Prometheus. 3 blinked. Are you certain, Captain? It asked. This will reveal our hand. They think we've been holding an ace, Ilara replied. It's time to show them we've got the whole damn deck. 3 days later, the Valiant Dawn entered a quiet region of space near the Krelian Nexus. No moons. No stations. Just void. The Veil of Purity struck without warning. Plasma mines detonating in precision clusters, cutting off exit vectors. 4 cloaked Zorith frigates blinked into view, forming a pincer formation. Seretha's voice came through in tight band transmission. This isn't personal, Captain Knox. The galaxy can't survive your kind of instability. Ilara responded with a calm, cold smile. You're right, she said. The galaxy as it is can't survive us. That's why we're changing it. The Zorith fleet launched disabling arcs, EMP lances, and boarding pods. The Valiant Dawn did not fire back. Split. Literally. Panels opened across its hull, revealing modular drone bays, automated decoys, and weapon systems that hadn't appeared in any scans. What the Zorith had scanned weeks ago was a shell, a deliberate misrepresentation. This was Athena Protocol, a modular warform designed to confuse, bait, and adapt. Targets are attempting to retreat, Prometheus 3 reported. Don't stop them, Ilara said. Let them run home. Let them spread the truth. Within minutes, the Zorith ships were in disarray. Communications jammed by human AI echo beacons, weapons redirected by false telemetry, shields cycling from feedback overload. The Purity itself took a phantom missile directly through its command deck, an explosive laced with nanobots that rapidly disabled every hardline circuit. No casualties, just humiliation. Sereth was pulled from the rubble, staring at a human transmission playing on every screen. You wanted to measure us. Now you know. We are not anomalies. We are not unpredictable. We are inevitable. Word of the failed ambush spread within hours. It was the final fracture. Minor powers that had long resented the Zorith hegemony saw their gods fall. Whispers of revolution, independence, and alliance with humanity rose like tidal waves. On Zorai Prime, Scholar Mesrith addressed the conclave once more. "It's over," she said simply. "They've already won. No territory has fallen," shouted General Sereth, nursing a broken arm. "No," Mesrith agreed. "But our authority has. And authority is what we truly ruled with." She turned to Vishal. "High Examiner. You were the first to see it. What is your verdict?" He stepped forward slowly. "Homo sapiens are not invaders. They are mirrors. They reflect our fear of evolution. And if we do not change, if we continue this delusion of control, they will not need to destroy us." He looked out across the chamber. "We will erase ourselves." Back aboard the Valiant Dawn, a fleet of small ships, alien, independent, diverse, rendezvoused near the human vessel. Former subjugates of the Zorith now flew their flags freely. A representative of the Krelian Nexus spoke first. You are not what we expected." "No," Ilara said. "We're what comes after what you expected. Will you rule us?" Ilara smiled faintly. "No, that's the old way. We're building something different. Galactic compact. Quality. Trade. Defense. No dominion. You offer freedom. I offer you the tools to defend yourselves," she said. "And the knowledge that if anyone tries to chain you again, we'll be there." Prometheus 3 finalized its report. Zorith Dominion. Entering fragmentation. New alliances forming around human-led compact. Dominion War Doctrine. Obsolete. HFY Threat Assessment. Recalibrated to cultural detonation. Ilara stood at the observation deck, watching the birth of something new. "Think they'll try again?" Jonah asked. "Not for a while," she said. "But someone always does." She turned to Prometheus. "Run projection 50 years from now." The AI displayed a galaxy in flux. New star routes, blended cultures, hybrid technology. Skirmishes, yes, but also cooperation. "Oh, a better galaxy," Ilara murmured. Jonah sipped his coffee. "And to think, it all started with one dumb scan." Ilara laughed. "Yeah, they scanned the Valiant Dawn.